you try your luck, you may be Donald Duck. Hooray for Hollywood. Hooray for Hollywood.
Walk of Fame ceremony. I want to give a special shout out to our fans who are watching the live video stream presented on walkoffame.com by our media partner Variety. I'm LaRon Gubler, President and CEO of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, which is presenting this program. Today we will honor Brett Ratner with the 2000. He will receive the 2,599th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Let me tell you about our honoree, and feel free to cheer for anything you like. Brett Ratner is one of Hollywood's most successful filmmakers. His diverse films resonate with audiences worldwide, and as a director, his films have grossed more than $2 billion at the global box office. Brett is a native of Miami Beach, Florida. By the age of 8, he began dreaming of being a director, and at the early age of 16, he began studying film at the prestigious NYU Film School. He began his career directing music videos before making his feature directorial debut at 26 years old with the action comedy hit Money Talks. All right. He followed that with the blockbuster Rush Hour in 1998 and its sequels. Brett also directed The Family Man, Red Dragon, After the Sunset, X-Men: The Last Stand, Tower Heist, and Hercules. Brett has also enjoyed critical acclaim and box office success as a producer. He served as an executive producer on the Golden Globe and Oscar-winning The Revenant, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Black Mass, starring Johnny Depp, and War Dogs, and as a producer on Truth, starring Robert Redford and Cate Blanchett, I Saw the Light, Rules Don't Apply, and Sony Pictures Classics Land of Mine. His other produced films include the smash hit comedy Horrible Bosses and its sequel, and the reimagined Snow White tale Mirror Mirror. Now, among his additional producing credits are the documentaries Bright Lights, starring Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, the 5-time Emmy-nominated and Peabody Award-winning Night Will Fall, and Leonardo DiCaprio's Before the Flood. He also, you can cheer for that, he also executive produced and directed the Golden Globe-nominated Fox series Prison Break and executive produced the television series Rush Hour. In 2013, Brett, along with his business partner James Packer, formed Rat Pack Entertainment, which is a film finance production and media company. And Rat Pack has had a first-look deal with Warner Brothers and joined with Dune Capital to finance, get this, over 75 films, including the award-winning and critically acclaimed Gravity, The Lego Movie, and American Sniper. And some of the recent films they financed include Sully, The Accountant, Suicide Squad, and Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Internationally, Rat Pack and Warner Brothers have formed a joint venture with Warner Brothers China Media Capital Group and WPP to finance local Chinese content. Now, since inception, they have co-financed 61 theatrically released motion pictures exceeding $10 billion in worldwide box office receipts. And the films they financed have won 21 Academy Awards, 7 Golden Globes, and 17 BAFTAs. Now, on the charitable side, Brett is a Board of Trustees member of the Simon Wiesenthal Center and Museum of Tolerance. You can clap for that. He currently sits on the boards of the Ghetto Film School, Chrysalis, Best Buddies, and the Los Angeles Police Foundation, while serving on the Dean's Council of the NYU Tisch School of the Arts and on the board of directors at Tel Aviv University's School of Film and Television. He's a very busy man, and a very successful entertainer here in Hollywood. Please help me welcome to the stage now our honoree, Brett Ratner. All right, now before you get to hear from Brett, we have several guest speakers who've asked to say a few words about our honoree. Our first speaker today is a 22-year studio veteran who serves as chairman and chief executive officer of Warner Brothers, with oversight of worldwide operations including film, television, and video game production, marketing, and distribution for one of the most innovative and successful entertainment companies in the world. Please welcome Kevin I can't even say it. Suji. I had this all done. Kevin Tsujihara to the stage.
No, it's fantastic. Thank you, Laurent, and good morning, everyone. I'm not Jackie Chan. I just want to. Brett wanted Jackie Chan, but I guess I fit the box, so it is what it is. I have to say I'm a little nervous this morning. The last time I did this was a star for Fred Flintstone. And like Fred, Brett is incredibly talented and extremely deserving of this recognition of the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We all know Brett as a great director, producer, and businessman. Thank you very much. He's also a bit of an overachiever, having directed his first feature film when he was 26 years old. Then he did Rush Hour for New Line the following year, and he hasn't stopped since. Warner Brothers has been partners with Brett and James Packer's company, Rat Pack Entertainment, since 2013. And I've had the opportunity to get to know Brett really well over the past few years. He's smart, funny, creative, driven, and he loves movies. Thought I was going to say something else. really loves the film business. But most of you probably already know that. So here's a couple things that you might not know about Brett. In addition to his behind-the-camera work, Brett has also dabbled in acting. In Brian De Palma's 1983 classic Scarface, Brett played the role of Boy lying on the raft of Pool. I'm not sure if you remember the scene, but it's some of Brett's finest work. I suggest you check it out. It's a 14-year-old version of Brett on this raft with the little beard and the mustache and the whole thing. It's pretty impressive. The other thing you might not know about Brett is that he's a distiller, which is pretty unique, given that he doesn't drink. Brett produces a whiskey that's named after his home in Beverly Hills. My whiskey would be called Small House in La Cañada, but it's slightly different for him. I'm sure Jackie Chan has a big house, but I don't. On a recent trip to Asia, Brett was seated at dinner and set a bottle of the Haven Lodge on the table, extolling its history, the care and craft that goes into producing it, and the complexity of the flavors, the dark, smoky, all these things, all without ever tasting a drop. He was a consummate showman, in the best sense of the word. And before long, he had the entire table toasting the virtues of Hill Haven, talking about how smoky it was. I didn't even know it exactly. The enthusiasm and commitment to something he believes in are what makes Brett so successful and such a great partner. They're also the keys to his success in Hollywood and in life. Congratulations, Brett. You are a most fitting recipient of the Star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'm honored to call you both a colleague and a friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Let me do a couple of introductions. I'd like to introduce the chair of the board of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Fariba Kalantari, over here. We also have with us the captain of Hollywood Division of the LAPD, Captain Corey Palka. Corey? He's the tall one back there. And we'd also like to welcome the Australian Secretary of State, Julie Bishop. Please acknowledge her as well. Now, our next speaker is an Academy and Emmy Award-winning producer and best-selling author. His films include Splash, Apollo 13, Frost Nixon, and A Beautiful Mind, for which he won the coveted Oscar. He was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world. Please welcome Walk of Famer Brian Grazer to the stage.
Well, first of all, let me just comment on the weather. It was supposed to rain. It was 100% possibility of rain. It's not raining. This is how life works for Brett Ratner. There's serendipity in everything that Brett Ratner is involved in. He accesses on that. So let me just tell you, I'm here for many reasons, but one of them is that I've known Brett for 30 full years. I met him when he was going to NYU. I followed up and met him, got together with him a few years later. I had just produced a movie called The Paper with Glenn Close and Michael Keaton. And I said to Brett, while I was in New York for this test screening, he was 25 years old or 24 years old. I said, I know you're just out of film school, but at 20 years old. 20. All right. Okay, come on. I said, come and check this film out. We're having a test screening. Now, look, I assumed that this kid who wants to be in show business is going to say, I love the film, it's amazing, you know, you're the best thing in the world. Anyway, that didn't exactly transpire. He sees the movie, and I say, Brett, what do you think of the film? He said, I like the film, but I don't think you're going to get a big audience turnout for the film. And I thought, who do you think you are? He says, no, I like it. I think it's an Upper East Side film, much like the audience that was here tonight. And he said, as evidenced by the cards, the research cards. I just thought this was so interesting that a young kid is telling me this. But it stuck with me because I thought he had very discriminatory taste and was smart. And by the way, he was right about the movie. It got great reviews, but no one went and saw it. In any event, years later after that moment, I thought, incidentally, at the time, Brett was already like a hip-hop mogul in his early 20s, directing videos and being already a superstar as a kid in the world of hip-hop. So now it's a few years later, I say, hey, Brett, I would love to hire you. I want you to come to my office in Los Angeles, and I've got a tremendous idea for the both of us. It'll be mutually beneficial. He comes to my office in Century City. This is now like 25 years ago. And I said, sit down. He sits down. He's very accommodating. And I said, I'm going to offer you $25,000 a year right away to be my assistant. And I explained to him why that's going to be valuable to him. He goes, I so appreciate it, but I'm going to be like Ron Howard. I'm going to be a director. I don't need to be. I'm not going to be a producer. I thought this was a negotiating ploy. So I said, look, I'll give you $28,000 a year. And he still said to me, no, you're not really understanding. I went to film school because I have a cinematic mind. I'm really interested in film. And I later learned he was also a cinephile. He's seen every film possible. I'm at $28,000. I say, look, this is my last offer. I'm going to give you $30,000 a year. This is the best opportunity you'll ever face. He says, I just can't, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be Ron Howard. I'm going to direct movies. This is what I'm going to do. It just didn't gel. So I said, look, get out of here. So he's leaving my office. I had one of those sort of high-powered electric doors that the minute he got his foot out the door, I hit the button so it kind of sweeps him in the back because I felt so insulted by him. In any event, go forward a couple more years. I have somebody that works for me as an executive named Jim Whitaker. Jim Whitaker says, hey, I just went to this screening the other night, a test screening of a movie called Money Talks that your friend Brett Ratner directed. I said, directed? He said, yeah, he actually became a director. He is a director. I said, well, how was the movie? Hoping he'd say, something less than he said to me about The Paper. So in any event, he said, I love the movie. The movie's amazing. And it stars this guy, Chris Tucker, who just blows up. I said, oh, my God. All right. So anyway, the story is really about how Brett's desire, dream, and exquisite taste comes to life. He's a very self-actualized person. And that was a great movie that he did, and he went on and directed $2 billion of more great movies. And here today he's being honored by the Hollywood community and getting his star on Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm so proud to say that Brett is a friend of mine and someone I deeply, deeply, deeply respect. And all of his accomplishments are so valid. And I want to give Brett all of my love. Congratulations.
Thank you, Brian. Let me do a few additional introductions of people who are with us today. I'd like to acknowledge one of our recent Walk of Fame honorees, Clarence Avant. Yeah. Over here. Also with him is his daughter, Nicole Avant, former ambassador, and son-in-law, Ted Sarandos of Netflix, who I have to say is moving to Hollywood soon. Yeah. We also want to acknowledge actor Anthony Michael Hall, actor Edward Norton, filmmaker Todd Phillips, studio head Jeffrey Katzenberg, Jay Penske of Variety, music producer Russell Simmons, and actor Chris Tucker. Thank you for joining us. Now, our next speaker has film revenues exceeding $2 billion worldwide and is a global box office powerhouse. He starred in 2015 in the summer blockbuster San Andreas and currently stars in the critically acclaimed Ballers for HBO. He also recently wrapped production for the big screen adaptation of Baywatch and Universal's Fast 8. He has also lent his voice to the new Disney animated film Moana. And he will round out the year filming Sony's continuation of the classic Jumanji. Please welcome Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually $6 billion is what the box office is. You know, when you think about Brett Ratner, for everybody who knows Brett, we're coming out. We're showing you so much love and support because we do love you. But you know, one of the crazy things about Brett, for those of you who don't know Brett, is Brett is connected to everything. Like, there's no story in Hollywood, there's no big success in Hollywood that Brett is not connected to. So we shot Hercules together in Budapest. We were over there for months and months. We spent a lot of time together over there, and there was always inevitably every day story time with Brett. Like Brett has, as you guys know, Brett has all these amazing stories. And finally one night I said, man, you know, you're actually Forrest Gump of Hollywood. Like, you are connected to, it's like Joanne Woodward, I believe, was the first one to get her star on the Walk of Fame in 1957. Somehow Brett Ratner is connected to that. Don't know how, but somehow he is, you know. As Brian was saying, you know, Brett he's a very special individual. He's so warm. He's got the biggest heart. And he's the kind of guy you want on your side. He's the kind of guy you want to be in business with. He's the kind of business partner you want. And he's also the kind of guy who, the interesting thing about Brett is if he's not getting his way, he has a very unique way of getting his way. Or if he gets into an argument, he has a very unique way of getting somebody back. So he's not the guy who's like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass and I'm going to do that. He's not that guy. So, for example, we were wrapping Hercules. Or he may say that, by the way, but then he'll run away. But we were wrapping Hercules, and our producer, Bo Flynn, he asked our producer, Bo Flynn, said, hey, is there anything that DJ wants? And so Bo came back and asked me, and I jokingly, I said, yeah, there's a new Panerai watch. It's about $25,000. Yeah, just go tell Brett I want that. So he goes to tell Brett that, and he comes back to me, and I said, what did he say? He said, Brett said, no problem. Done. I said, wow, okay. So anyway, I never thought anything of it. We wrap. Brett has this beautiful presentation. It's the Panerai watch. I couldn't believe it. And he has this wonderful speech, one-on-one speech to me about what the movie meant to him. It was his last movie that he directed. We laughed, we cried, we hugged each other. I took the watch home. About 6 months later, I'm meeting with Bo Flynn again. He goes, wow, that's a beautiful watch. I said, yeah, this is the one that Brett gave me. He goes, that's the watch Brett gave you? I said, yeah. He starts laughing hysterically for 5 minutes. I said, what's going on? He goes, he gave MGM the bill. Yes. He gave it to Jonathan Glickman because they got into some argument on set or whatever it is. But the point is, I can't say enough good things about Brett Ratner. He's a brother, he's a friend, and I'm so proud of you. And it's so ironic, because I was thinking about this on the way over, is Brett, like Brian was saying, loves film. He loves movies. And to be here, to be celebrated in our community amongst all these legends and iconic names, for you to be here, it means the world to him, it means the world to me, it means the world to us. I love you, brother, and congratulations.
Thanks, Dwayne. Now, last but not least among our guest speakers today is a gentleman who is the most commercially successful African-American actor in the history of the film business. How about that? And he's also one of the industry's top 5 box office performers overall. He has starred in pictures ranging from Beverly Hills Cop to Daddy Daycare. And, of course, we all know he is also the voice of Donkey in the Oscar-winning animated film Shrek and its sequel, Shrek 2. He will next be seen in the comedy Tower Heist, in which he serves as executive producer. Please welcome Walk of Famer Eddie Murphy.
Please hold your applause. Hold your applause, please. First of all, we did Tower Heist about 3 years ago, sir. And it was a tremendous flop. But our hearts were in the right place, and we got to work with Precious. But I don't have as much as everyone else have. They have all this stuff. I've only done one movie with Brett, but Brett has been a friend of mine for many. He's actually the only director I've ever become friends with in 40 movies. Usually you make a movie and you never see the person again. But Brett actually became a friend, and you directed a flop, and we're still friends. Because usually when you see the people you was in the flop with, you just turn around and you don't never want to look at the motherfuckers. But Brett, we vacation together. I talked to him on the phone. He's one of my dearest friends. Brett is, and Brett also, incidentally, Brent introduced me to the lovely Miss Page, who I've been with for a number of years now. And we just recently had a little baby girl who Brett is the godfather of, little Miss Izzy. So we are forever, eternally indebted to Brett, and we love Brett, and congratulations on receiving such a wonderful honor. And thank everybody. A big round of applause for Brett. How about Brett?
So, Brett, one of your really good friends was not able to be with us today, so he sent a letter. Now, this letter is suitable for framing.
Not Donald Trump.
He couldn't send the letter. He was busy. But we have another one, another friend. Let me share you what he had to say. He said, I would like to congratulate Brett Ratner on receiving a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. When I first met him, I was surprised to see this young boy dressed in expensive designer clothing, sit on the ground, eat sloppily with his fingers, and speak enthusiastically at a mile a minute. He wasn't what I expected to find in a Hollywood director. Although he had ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, on the set, he is completely focused. What I have also discovered about Brett is that he has a big heart. He is extremely charitable and generous. He is both adorable and lovable like a big teddy bear. No matter what he asks me to do for him, I must always say yes. He is like my brother. I call him Brett Ratner Chan. I am honored to know that Brett's star will be close to mine. I am happy to help in any way I can polish his star and keep it shining as bright as mine. Signed, Jackie Chan, also known as Jackie Chan Ratner. And he drew a beautiful little picture. I didn't know he was an artist. of him hugging Brett as a teddy bear. So congratulations. All right. So we'll keep that so it doesn't go up on eBay. Okay. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce administers the Walk of Fame on behalf of the city of Los Angeles, Brett. And we have a beautiful resolution from the city really going over a lot of your accomplishments. So it's my privilege on behalf of the city to present you with this beautiful resolution suitable for framing today.
Thank you.
So let's stand. All right, we got to watch out for that Jackie Chan letter. Okay, and at this time, it's time to hear from you, Brett, but let me just, by final way of introduction, say that we are honored to declare this Brett Ratner Day in Hollywood.
Thank you, Laron. Thank you, Anna Martinez. Thank you, Vin DeBona. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's kind of weird because I want to address these guys, but I guess I have to deal with it. And as I stand here today, I cannot help but think of the boy that I was 35 years ago in Miami Beach who just loved movies. Loved everything about them, couldn't get enough of them, wanted to know how, when, and why they were made. Before I am a filmmaker, I am a fan of movies and of this wonderful community that makes them. So for me, simply put, it really just doesn't get any better than this morning. Let me start by thanking Kevin Tsujihara for sharing this morning with me. Not only is he my business partner, my advocate, my supporter, and my friend, he gave me and my company one hell of a bungalow on the Warner Brothers lot, which is particularly meaningful to me, considering that the last guy who ran the studio had me barred from the lot completely. The company for which Kevin so generously provided me such a beautiful home on the Warner Brothers lot is Rat Pack Entertainment. Team Rat Pack. This company exists wholly and solely due to the generosity, commitment, and vision of my extraordinary partner, James Packer. James came to me 3 years ago with the idea of starting a company that would be equally friendly to the creative community and the business community. A company that is as committed to producing documentary films as it is to producing studio blockbusters. James has supported this vision thoroughly and completely, and one can only ask for a finer friend and partner, so thank you, James. Now, Eddie Murphy has played such a special role in my life. Working in the movie business gives one a curious opportunity. You get to meet your sorry. You get to meet your boyhood heroes, and sometimes when you're lucky, they become your friends. There's no greater comic actor in the world than is Eddie Murphy. He was my childhood hero, and now he is my friend. And it was he and the movies he made that inspired me to want to direct action comedies. I didn't just watch Beverly Hills Cop in 48 hours. I studied them. I dissected them. And Rush Hour would not exist if it wasn't for Eddie. I met him for the first time over the phone when he called me to tell me he loved Rush Hour and how talented he thought Chris Tucker was. When he told me that I had accomplished the very difficult task of creating just the right tone between action and comedy, I knew I had done my job. To this very day, that phone call, which brought me confidence and validation, remains one of the seminal moments of my life. And his generosity of spirit gave me the confidence not only to believe in myself, but also provided me with the roadmap that has taught me how to behave towards others who are just starting out. Whenever I see a young director whose work I admire, I do my very best to seek them out and laud them the way Eddie lauded me. I have been blessed in that. Deserving or not, talented people have believed in me throughout my journey. producers like Brian Grazer, artists like Eddie, Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan, Dwayne Johnson, Edward Norton, have given me the opportunity to follow my dreams and point my camera, which I love so much, at them and let their magic unfold before my eyes. My indebtedness to all of them is boundless. Living up to one's reputation when one's a superstar in an all but impossible task, images that are carefully crafted by PR departments to create an often unrealistic and all but perfect persona. It's more than one can rightfully ask of a mere mortal, unless, of course, you're The Rock. Let me be clear. Every righteous, honorable, often unbelievable superlative you've heard about this man is true. He's a great family man, he's a great actor, and he's a great friend. Dwayne, I'm so happy to have you here with me today. I love you, brother. I especially would like to thank Brian Grazer for joining us this afternoon. Without question, Brian is one of the greatest film producers of our time. Come on, guys. And to think I actually owe my entire directing career to him. After all, Brian, had you just offered me a couple of thousand more a year, I would have become solely a producer, given up my dreams of directing, and Ron Howard would be my partner today. Truthfully, though, you've been a great friend and supporter, and I'm so honored that you're here with us, Brian. Thank you for coming. What a joy is it to work in a profession that allows one to indulge one's art, create product that at least some of the time the public admires, some of the time, not in Tower Heights, but the public admires and enjoys. I like Tower Heights anyway. While having a hell of a lot of laughs along the way. We who make movies are the keepers of a sacred trust. We do our best to inspire joy, thought, fear, laughs, escapism, and harsh reality for audiences around the world who are simply willing to pay the price of a ticket. I, through all the laughs and all the good times, have always and continue to take this business of movie making very seriously and will continue to do so all that I can to serve that trust. I am humbled beyond words to be recognized as I'm being here today. I hope that I have learned in my life that before I am a director, producer, or a filmmaker, I must always be a kind, decent, and honorable man. In this endeavor, I have an extraordinary role model. My mentor, my surrogate father, Al Malnick, is here with me today, flew all the way from Miami. Al knows me my entire life and has been my counsel, my consigliere, and clearly the guy I go to for his sage wisdom and advice on just about everything of importance to me. Al, you have been a gift to me, and words cannot express the love and admiration that I have for you. Thank you, Al. Last thing I want to say is that, you hear that people say that Hollywood is a cold and unforgiving place. Not to me. It is bestowed upon me with so many extraordinary friends, colleagues, and mentors, all of whom have loved and put up with me along the way. Most of you know who you are, and I love you dearly, but in case you're sensitive, Toby, John Glickman, Mark Abraham, Dante, Jake, Adam Bennett, I'm looking around. Who did I leave out? Mike Conception, Russell Simmons, Shari, everyone who's come here, everybody. My 3 cardiologists are here in the corner, thank God. To my mom and my 2 brothers who are watching live right now, I love you all so much. You're in my heart this morning from Miami. My Uncle George is here, who I love very much. Last, I would really like to thank and dedicate this award to the person who is incontrovertibly responsible for me being here today, and that is my beloved grandmother, Fanita. It is Fanita who taught me how to enjoy life, to be curious, to be generous, and that family and what is in your heart is most important. Since I was a little boy, she's been telling me how great I am. And as many friends who are here today can attest to, at some point I really started to believe her. It is she who is the greatest heart, who has the greatest heart, and the greatest character of anybody I've ever known. This day, Fanita, is your day. So, may God bless you and all my wonderful friends and people who have supported me along the way. Thank you very much.
Well, it's time to unveil the star. We'd ask all of our guest speakers to join us for the unveiling. Let's do it.
Where do we go?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we proudly welcome to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Ratner. Chris Tucker. You can't see me? I think they're going up here.